the GM or whoever handles the personnel on the team, they'll call your agent anytime. Or if you want to have something said, you could have your agent call and do that. So there's a good buffer system.
Okay.
For business.
Mostly business. Nothing on the field. None of that kind of stuff. It's mostly just like...
Now, off the field, your agent also can get you like, I need to chill out, so you know what it is. It's time for the chill zone.
Yeah, why don't you choose chill for once?
Brought to you by Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com and celebrate responsibly. Let's hit the old hotline. Again, that number is 424-291-2290. Let's get into it.
Hey, Jules, I just want you to know this is Stacy from Texas, and that you were talking the other day on Dudes on Dudes about Madden. And I believe you are the Madden for this generation. You have explained football in such a way and let us see behind the scenes and behind the curtain, and I think you do an excellent job of explaining everything, and you certainly have made a fan of me since I saw you on New Heights. So thank you, Jules, and have a wonderful weekend.
Stacy from Texas.
Shout out, Stacy.
Holy moly. You got to watch John more, Stacy.
That's high praise. Yeah. That is high praise.
You got to watch more John Madden, okay? Don't put me in the same sentence, but that is those are some beautiful, kind words. And I love that we got someone from Texas from doing New Heights. That's called cross-pollination.
That's right, baby.
Cross-pollination.
That's right, baby.
Right? That's people helping people.
That's why you do all those media appearances.
That's why you lift all them weights.
Right. That's why we talk about all them weights. Thank you, Stacy.
For a little bit of follows, you do a great job of like taking high concept type of stuff and kind of pulling back the curtain on like real football for more of a layman.
And doing it in an entertaining and personable and real way that appeals to even the most casual fan.
Well, we have good people that know how to ask and write the right questions to get that out of me. So it's a team effort. Let's keep it going.
I like these
questions.
We're all disciples of Madden, so
we're all disciples of Madden.
John.
Hey guys, this is Eric in Yucaipa, California. I was just calling because Jules, I read your book Relentless years ago. Thought it was amazing. Just kind of curious if you have any plans to write another book, maybe more personal stuff, life after football. Just the years since. More stuff about like your own personal thoughts and everything. Of course, football stories. We all love that. But anyway, I know you've written some children's books, but just curious if you have more books for adults that you have planned to come out. All right, man. If so, I look forward to it. Can't wait to read it later.
Eric, from where?
Yucapa, California.
That's a sick name. That's probably up north.
That feels like Sierra Nevadas.
Where is that? That's a very thoughtful question.
Really good one.
I got to see where this guy lives.
It's in the San Bernardino County, so 10 miles east of San Bernardino.
Oh, so we're close to here. San Bernardino, I believe, was where the first McDonald's was.
Yeah, this is near...
or am I tripping?
This is near
Oakland.
Right. You ever go to Oakland? They have like a little like fall vibe, and there's some like apple orchards. And they're like, oh, if you want New England and California, go to Oakland. But
Where's that?
It's not.
You were correct, Jules. First McDonald's. San Bernardino, California, 1398 Northeast Street.
Come on, man.
And then Ray Kroc came in there and messed it all up with his milkshake machines.
I haven't thought about writing another book at all.
There's been some whispers with people behind the scenes, but it's never gotten real.
Tales from the Nut House.
Yeah, but I don't know. I got to live some more life. I'm still like in the grinding stage of my next career.
Hey, Tim Tebow has like 3 autobiographies.
Yeah, but Tebow is like, he's probably got 3 fascinating stories.
Yeah, Jules hadn't even circumcised one kid, bro.
Yeah,
What's he
dude.
got to talk about?
Jesus.
Those are rookie numbers.
It's a rookie number. Only been like 5 brisks. This guy's been circumcised.
Is a brisk like a brisk that's fast? It's like a fast one.
A brisk.
Let's
keep this brisk tight.
I love how Asaf keeps me on layaway or keeps me on high alert for the brisk.
Yeah, we've got a brisk
Kid's coming any day, dude. Brisk coming. I'm like, bro, we're shooting on that day. We were just gonna. You live in Boca.
Boca, yeah.
It's not like you're in over at La Cienega.
There is a brisk on our horizon.
Oh, brisk standby.
Great question, Eric, but no thought yet.
This is Lauren from Texas. My question is for Julian. How does finding an agent work? Do they find you? Do you go and look for them? Do they get paid when you get paid? Who do you know to trust? So that's my question. I like the podcast. It's really good, informative, and positive. Thank you.
Lauren from Texas, how do you get your agent? Well, I'll give you my experience. I was coming out of Kent State, so I didn't have a lot of agents pursuing me. But my coach, Doug Martin, was represented by Ian Dubin Sports at the time.
They do a lot of coaches too, right?
Huh?
Yee and Dubin do have a lot of coaches.
Yeah, they have coaches. And I met with a few other agents, and they were all, I mean, you could tell they were some swindly dudes. Like some dude from
Some real Bob Sugar
Pittsburgh.
types.
I'm talking East-West swindly.
Oh,
So
boy.
a little different, you know, like some Uncle Buck vibes.
Wait, what's East West Swindly?
Midwest.
Midwest.
Midwest. Did I say East-West?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
I
was
thought you were
thinking,
talking about the Shrine Bowl or something.
I was thinking about the Shrine, damn. Well, like some just, it's just swindly business. And then, you know, my coach put a word in to to Ian Dubin or something, and Don called me and basically gave his pitch, and they flew me out to LA, and so that's how I signed with them. So if you're a high talented guy out of college, there's guys coming at you all day. And back in the day, before the guys were getting paid, the agents, which my agents were like regular type dudes, like low key agents, and that's kind of how I liked it. You know, I didn't want the flashy, this kind of. There's agents that, you know, back in my day, they would give guys a bunch of money so like they could get their car or whatever while they're training.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically a loan that they had to pay back once they got their money from their signing bonus, which I didn't do that, but that's what I've heard used to be done. And then like the agent would pay for the living, they would pay for the training, which, you know, for 3 months, that's 50, 60 grand, you know, so that you get a loan from your agent. And if, or it, you know, they could do, there's some guys that'll eat that cost because if they have a first round guy, they're going to make, you know, millions of dollars. So like, I don't know how they pitch it to certain guys, but there was deals within deals on how you got your agents back in the day. Now it's changed completely nowadays because these guys are getting agents pitched at them out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because there's agencies that represent athletes that have divisions that represent NIL. So now, you know, they'll send over their NIL department, get these kids younger, and then feed them into their, you know, the big system of who they are. You know, you got the Rosenhaus, you got the other big one, the CA. You know, there's 5 or 6 big ones, and then you got like these mom and pop shop agents. You know, and I wouldn't put my agency in that because they got some big. I mean, my
like
agents
boutique, but they've got,
yes, they didn't have a boatload of guys, and they had a certain amount of different types of guys. You know, so that's how you get agents, I guess, when you're a pro.
Get connected.
You know, they start coming to practices.
Now, what else is an agent providing for you besides just like the standard contract negotiations?
So on field, they're doing all the negotiation talks between the club and you.
Okay.
So the GM or whoever handles the personnel on the team, they'll call your agent anytime, or if you want to have something said, you could have your agent call and do that. So there's a good buffer system.
Okay.
For business.
Mostly business, nothing on the field, none of that kind of stuff. It's mostly
Nothing
just
on,
like
now off the field, your agent also can get you like in commercials. They can get marketing stuff, shoe deals, but also, you know, there's different agencies for different type things. So like when I was playing, I had my football agent with Josie and Dubin. They handled everything on the field, and they would get me stuff off the field, but I had multiple people getting me stuff off the field at that time. I had like a fashion agent person that was like, when I was doing stuff with Joe's Jeans and Macaj and, you know, doing all this, you know, fashion-y type stuff or appearance type fee or designing something, like I had an agent for that. So then they would get a cut of whatever they brought me from there. And then I had, a TV agent, which was a different agent than my Ian Dubin agent, which was a different agent than the fashion agent. So there's multiple different agents, which I like to do it like that.
Keeps people hungry.
Yeah. There are house, like you can go to companies that have one that does it all.
Soup to nuts, yeah, the big boys.
Yeah.
Did like Ian Dubin put you in touch with the fashion and the entertainment people, or did you kind of do that on your own?
Little bit of both.
Okay.
They would look for my interests and they would put me like I think they got me into a fashion week or something. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Made friends there, and it's just a lot of networking. And then so multiple different agents for these athletes, and especially now you have social media managers.
Yeah.
Like I had a whole different department that was, doing that.
Digital deals, and
there was multiple different kind of so-called agents. It's not just one guy.
Now for your the main contract agents, they're taking what, 3% off of gross or after tax? How do they actually get paid?
So your agent on the field, the standard is usually 3% of what you get your on the field contract.
Okay.
Now there are guys that negotiate that down that get huge deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can negotiate. I'll sign with you if you give me one if you do it for 1%. Or now you're even seeing guys do it on their own.
Yeah.
A la Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they get you something that's not associated with the team, that's off the field, not your contract for playing with the team,
A Tostitos commercial.
then they usually would take 10% of what it would be.
Okay.
So they would get 3% of what you're on field, what you were getting through the team for playing for the team, and then they would get 10% of anything they brought you
off the field.
And that's at usually 10 to 15, 20 range. There's that range, and that comes from a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
10, it's usually 10. But you get up into those model worlds and stuff, because you dip over and you've done some stuff for that market. You get those agents, they take 50% from it's crazy. So there's a whole, each industry is a little different.
Sure.
And I'm sure the size of each contract matters on the size of each
Sure.
that agreement's between, what I
and,
mean?
and with the entertainment business, there's the managers, there's agents, there's even lawyers sometimes take a percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your agents are usually a one-stop shop, so you don't have to do in Hollywood.
Yeah. It's all there.
It's all in one. Yeah, your sport agent handles the team. So you don't have in Hollywood, they're the lawyers that are doing the legality work. They're also doing the negotiation. They so there's in sports it's a little different than Hollywood.
Do you know anything? And I know that you don't probably not experience it from your career, but it's always fascinating to me that teams, let's say a player is requesting a trade or wants to get moved, that teams let an agent of a player seek out deals. Do you know anything about that? Or
I've never been in that.
Yeah. I thought that was peculiar or interesting that a front office would let an agent go look for some deals and speak on their behalf.
The agents, they have guys on every team, so they have relationships, and that's the value of having an agent.
Mm-hmm.
Is the relationship that they have with teams. If he has a guy on that team, and he does good business with that guy, then the team's going to be more lean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just that was the whole thing when we were talking about Lamar's negotiation. There was no relationship between each side and each side, which is, that it's just new. That's why it was looked at differently.
Yeah.
It got done, but he also used a lawyer. He did it more of a Hollywood contract.
You'd get your own deal, and then your lawyer irons it all out.
So that's what he kind of did. He did it in Hollywood, right? You get your agent gets a fee, your manager gets a fee, and then there's a lawyer that tightens everything up and gets, you know what I mean? I think he kind of handled it like that without the others. He just, did the deal, which, looking back, if I knew what I knew now,
sick Frank on him.
I wouldn't say frank on them, but I would know how to do a deal,
Yeah.
and I would just have a lawyer tighten it up.
Yeah.
And go over, and the legality talk, and you know what I mean? All you have to have is your lawyer. You know it, like, now, but like, and maybe Lamar does now through that experience, which, that could be huge going forward for him in his life. Like, that could be
major.
He's a pioneer,
Honestly.
Everyone thinks everyone's crazy with the first time they do shit.
Hey, man, trailblazer.
Because I was like, man, he's crazy. You don't got an agent.
What's 3% of? That's a lot of money for that contract.
But it's also, it's a convenience cost.
Sure, and
It's
like
more
peace
for
of
your
mind
mind.
too.
You know what
Honestly.
I mean? You're paying that cost to let them do their work so you can keep your mind on football. Because at heart, you're paying the people to give you the convenience so you can work on your craft. You know what I mean? That's why I always had a team of people when I was playing. Like, let them worry about everything. Find someone you can trust. Really go over that, and then so you can keep the main thing.
Amen.
Because everything grows if you do well on the field.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, I was talking to young guys at the Patriots practice, and I was thinking about it. I was like, whatever your goal is as a professional athlete, like when you're on this team, the process is whatever it is, the process is still the same. Whether it's to be the best player, whether it's to be the best teammate, whether it's to make the most money, whether it's to be the most famous.
I like all those.
Whatever your goal is, to get to the best of that, you have to do the same shit. So you might as well do the shit.
Yeah.
And realize that those all grow when you do the shit. I don't know if that...
No,
Yes.
if you are performing on the field, will trickle down to all of the stuff.
everything, which ultimately comes down to that practice. That's why that practice means so much. Because, you know what I mean? You put so much time and effort in to get your body as explosive as it possibly can. Now you have these certain amount of reps that you have before you go into pads. Every rep is freaking important,
And like you said, it starts with keeping the main thing. So many of these guys, like, you want to get over their skis and do media and social media and
Well, you're always
you know what I
It's
mean?
good
Like,
to lay that foundation.
it's
so
good
when
to
you're
lay a
done, you have a place
foundation.
to go.
right, but like before you've done any, you know what I mean?
Well,
like
like-
before you've done anything.
but you also can tell what guys' goals are through, what they are.
Yeah, but you-
When we
yeah.
were selling your T-shirts back when you were playing, like you could have put the best design on the planet out, and if you get hurt or if you don't perform well or if you don't win a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. Or if you could put out the whatever design after Super Bowl, it's just how it goes. When the main thing's the main thing,
Amen.
the other stuff follows.
And then you just gotta worry about the head coach of New England coming up to you in the lunchroom and cornering you, trying to negotiate deals right then and there.
1,000%.
You call like Dubin right after that.
Hell yeah, I ratted his ass out. He said, hey, we don't need to have the agents involved here,
And he didn't even use the scooper for
goes
the
like
trail
this.
mix.
He goes like this. Bill goes like this. He goes, look, like, you say something to your agent. I say something to Casario. They say something. Like, there's so many fucking people. Like, why don't we could just do this ourselves. Like, he literally, you say something to your agent. He says something to Casario. Casario says something to. He's like that's what he's laid out. I'm like,
Yeah, nice try, buddy.
I was like, Coach, I just let my agent do this. I'm a dumb football player. I play stupid with him. Well, he knows.
Hey,
he
playing
knows
dumb,
me to a
baby.
T.
Playing
He
dumb.
knows everything about me.
That old New England football coach.
Fucking guy. Yeah, we don't talk about him.
We'll bleep that name.
Bleep that name. Until he comes in this motherfucker. Until he's right here on this goddamn couch, we're bleeping his name.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's a pact.
He's like Voldemort.
We shook on it.
Yeah, Jules, I just listened to the last voicemail episode of Games with Names. This has been a fear of mine growing up, and I'm all the way across the country. You guys living on the San Andreas fault line, that doesn't scare you at all? That's just a question. It scares me, so I don't know. Good episode. Peace.
we about to become a geology podcast?
You know, living on the San Andreas fault lines has its scares, but it also has its pluses. The scares are, at any moment, the cement from right under you could just crack into half. Any moment. But because of that, when I'm driving down the 280, I see beautiful mountains. I see beautiful elevation. I see topography that these eyeballs can't freaking see anywhere other than here. It's nuts. I drive this state a lot because I go up to the Bay Area. I go up to Yosemite area. I go to the lakes. I drive to freaking Tahoe. I'll drive to freaking Mammoth. I'll drive to Palm Springs. We're a fucking family trip kind of guy.
Yeah, baby.
I put at least 6 to 8 5-hour plus driving sessions in a year.
Right up that fault line.
So we hit that fault line a lot. It's scary, but like anything, like when you live in Florida, everyone's terrible. You know how to prepare for a hurricane, even though you can't. But like when we were kids, we had the earthquake drills and shit. You get under the table, you find a door frame. You bring your little. We all had to bring our little packs where you got your blanket and shit. Like I remember we used to have to pack those like week 1. And they're all like the canned stuff, like canned peaches
beans and shit.
and like
The non-perishables,
puddings and stuff, and like all that, and
Snack
beef
pack.
jerky. And like on the last day of school, you got to take it home and you just go and eat it all.
Eating your earthquake pack meal.
But yeah,
It's cool at the San Andreas Fault. I was just in Joshua Tree, and on one of the lookout Keys Point in Joshua Tree, you can see the big valley, like the Coachella Valley. And you can just see the San Andreas Fault just splits the whole thing. It's so cool.
like the 280 in Northern California, you could like watch right down in it. Like Crystal Springs Reservoir is like
Was that on the way to Half Moon Bay?
yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it's just because of that fault line, you get this crazy beauty,
Yeah.
And
if it ever really goes, then we just live on an island.
There it is.
is there water under us?
I don't know.
Remember the Dwayne Johnson film from 2015? San Andreas?
Yeah.
Another good one. $110 million budget, made 474. Pretty
Oh,
good.
that's not bad.
It made 470.
Yeah.
Man,
That's in 2015 dollars.
that's when movies were making money.
All right,
That's right. Shout out Dwayne. We'll save him for next time.
That's a good one. More geology questions. That's fun.
We are a geology podcast now. Jeez.
I remember taking a Earth Dynamics class at Kent State and just learning about all these kids were like from the Midwest, and we were talking about like the San Andreas fault line and liquefaction and stuff. I was like, yeah, dude, we build them on rockers, rollers, and stuff. You don't got to worry about that.
No big deal.
We don't have sandy ass areas out there.
Give him a quick TED Talk.
Get a little TED Talk at Earth Dynamics 100.
Earth Dynamics.
How many
baby.
times you go to that class?
I went to that class a lot.
What's a lot? 50%?
At least 65.
Okay. All right.
I don't think I've ever asked you this, but did you take any fashion classes at Kent State?
I didn't.
Because the program's so good.
I was
wondering if you took
I
like
didn't
an
even
intro or
know
something.
about it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Like
You're
it's
still
on a
hoodie and
different
long
part
hair?
of campus.
oh, totally. Okay.
It's on a different part of campus.
I always love that fun fact about Kent.
So I met a kid on the beach here in
yes.
LA. Did I
You
tell
me
that
about
story
this?
already?
Yes. He just came up to you randomly, right?
Randomly, yeah. He went to Kent State. He's like, oh, Edelman. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You went to Kent State. What are you doing out here? Were you in fashion or something? He's like, yeah, I'm in fashion. I was like, what?
Yo.
He's like, I work with like old American, Americano vibes, like, Levi and shit. I was like, oh, I got to put you in touch with my homegirl who works at Levi. Just trying to help out a little Flash, get his kickstart.
That Kent State Mafia, baby, the network.
He's like 23, fresh out of college.
Man. Yeah, number one
Dunbar.
fashion design school in the Midwest.
Should we audit a remote Kent State class this summer?
I'm down.
Do a remote.
We're lifelong learners. Let's do it.
Jack, let's take a look at what the
I remember I
online
had a
Kent State
business
situation
class.
is.
One of my business class, we had like a really cool business teacher at Kent, Business 100. And one of the professors was a guy who was clearly a venture capitalist that went to Kent State that made a boatload of money that was like coming back just for
Yeah.
help out my university.
Yeah.
And I remember him talking in 2006 about streaming.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, pretty soon, this is when DVDs were just getting hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was
We
already
just
like
got
way
to
ahead of that.
DVDs and Blu-ray and stuff. And he goes, 10 years, you're not even going to need anything. You're just going to order everything right from your TV. I'm like, no fucking way, dude.
And that man's name was Ted Sarandos. Jeez.
I'm like, who's this guy?
That's crazy.
I'm like, who's this guy?
Talk about being ahead of your time. Prescient, man.
What was that, 2005, 6? When did we start doing that?
That's wild. I mean,
5 years later?
streaming.
There's a geographic information science graduate program online for Kent State. Let me see. I don't have anything fashion-wise.
Well, let's take a fashion one.
I don't know if there's an online fashion course.
Yeah, Netflix officially launched streaming in January of 07.
We should take a fashion.
Way
we
earlier
should
than I
take a
thought.
fashion class at Kent State,
I'm so down.
like an Americano, old school cowboy fucking.
If anyone's still listening to this, thank you. Hey, Kent State, hit us up.
Hit us up.
Johnson and Wales hit us up. They wanted us
Yeah,
to
we
do
want to take a
cooking
fashion class. We're going to audit it online all
Yeah.
summer, lifelong
And
learners.
then we can, whoever has the best grade wins something.
My president
Yeah.
left. My lady.
Oh, dang.
I got you.
Michael
Her
Schwartz,
name
Beverly
is
Warren.
Beverly
Beverly.
J. Warren.
Shout out, Bev.
She left 2019.
Yeah, Bev.
Did she hand you your degree or
She
diploma?
handed me. Oh, Bev. Bev worked with me to get me my degree.
I love that.
What do you mean, Sam?
No. Basically, had to just sit and talk to professors and explain my businesses.
You're like when Steven Spielberg got his was it PhD? I think he got his PhD from or doctorate from USC Film School, and then he needed to like send an example of his work, and he like just like, oh, here's Schindler's List. Was that good enough for you, USC? And they're like, yeah, okay, here you go. It's like you. Here's JE11.
Some call
Good
that a
enough.
doctor. Did I get my PhD?
I don't think
Are you going to start calling me Dr. Eddles?
I think Kent State's not that.
Oh, yeah.
Would you be the kind of guy that if you got an honorary doctorate, you would make people call you doctor?
You got to speak at a Kent State graduation.
Nah, I'm with you.
I'm not there yet. We got to start writing my speech for the Patriots Hall of Fame.
Oh, true.
I think I'm
That
just going to
comes
like
first.
not write it, but just put like names and tell stories.
I like that.
And then,
Keep it
and then
loose.
say, check out the rest on Games with Names.
No.
If you want more,
Remember to like and subscribe.
like and subscribe.
You got 12 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
It's not really.
It's talking in front of a stadium.
That's the height. Some people have gone 5.
Okay. I feel like the sweet
Not the
spots-
stadium, not in front of the stadium. This is at the Patriots Hall. At halftime,
Oh,
you get
'cause you
like
got- yeah.
you get like 4 minutes or
Okay.
5 minutes.
All right, audience, send, if you're still listening, send voicemails of what Jules should say, of ideas.
Oh, that's fun.
Some like things that you'd want to hear from him for his speech.
Yeah, let's see what
like-
let's see what the nut house comes up with.
I like taking the mic off the podium, kind of pacing back and forth, turn that thing
yeah.
into a roast.
Yeah.
So I just start,
Yeah.
start doing the coach's twirl with the fucking wire. Yeah, so Jesus.
Nah, that's probably not the way to go.
Just want to say I thank Tedeschi's, Dunkin' Donuts.
Raytheon.
Gillette Corporation.
That's what Tom. I think Tom's speech was sponsored by Raytheon.
That's insane.
Tom gave a good speech.
Actually, was ready to vote for him. Whatever he was going to run for, I was going to vote for
I
him.
know, man. It's scary. I got to follow that.
We do it because it's hard. Oh, so good. Anyway, let's
Man,
go.
that's crazy. Y'all remember? I didn't
Let's
remember
go
that. I was
home.
there.
Man, well, just got to chill from that. And that's the Chill Zone. Thanks to our favorite beer, Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/GWN and celebrate responsibly.